Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Vice President of Worldwide Product Marketing, Mr. Phil Schiller.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is going to be a lot of fun. I hope the whole time you have here is a lot of fun. This is something totally new for us, and I'm really pleased to be the person that gets to welcome you to this, as well as you know, this is being broadcast on the web. So we're going to welcome N. We'll find out what N is after the show, but N people out there on the web, hopefully tens of thousands who get to watch this on the web and not get the full experience you all do here live, but something hopefully just as enjoyable. And this is the first, right? This is the first time we can all get together and talk about nothing but QuickTime. And that's pretty interesting. QuickTime has been around for a while, but in the last year we've had just tremendous change and evolution of QuickTime, and we get to all get together and discuss that, explore it, figure out where we all want it to go together. Now, it's not really about QuickTime. I mean, QuickTime is great, but that's not really what drives it all. It's about the things all of you create. And it's all about the content you produce, the fun videos you make, the interesting applications you have for QuickTime. That's what gets us going in the morning. That's what gets us started, up trying to figure out what to do next, what's going to enable you to do the stuff that just blows us away. But I wanted to start with that troops piece as we were coming in, because when I first saw that in QuickTime, and that was pre-QuickTime 4 and even pre-QuickTime 3, so we didn't go and resample it with the latest Sorensen codecs and any of that, so it could be just blow-away quality now, but even for years, people have done stuff that is so creative, so imaginative, fun, and they've been able to do it with QuickTime because it's a technology that allows you to be a lot more free to do just amazing works. And that's what we hope to keep going, keep the momentum going, that we can all just do amazing creative things. So as you go through this show over the next couple of days, you go to sessions, you're going to dive into QuickTime, and dive into other people's products that work with QuickTime, and see a lot of people who are creating products and content with QuickTime. And probably for me, the most powerful experience isn't what we're going to say on stage. It's going to be meeting the people sitting next to you. There's just amazing people sitting all around you from incredible companies doing things that were just never thought of just a few years ago. And I hope you get a lot out of that, whether it's just sitting there at lunch, going out for drinks with somebody, or talking about a session you're in. I think you'll get the most out of that. And that's what we hope for, that you get a lot out of this. And if you do, tell us, and we'll figure out what to do next. Now, some of you have been around QuickTime for a while. I know I have. Get some of my gray hairs with QuickTime. And QuickTime, it started way back in '91. I don't know how many of you were working with QuickTime back when it was introduced. QuickTime 1. Was anybody out here working with QuickTime back with 1? Yeah? Well, cool. The QuickTime 1 was an amazing thing. It was back in the dark ages of digital video. Right? In the dark ages, people had a really backwards way of doing it. Right? It was like the old dentists who used to pull off limbs in the dark ages. That's what people were doing with digital video. The way you would do digital video before QuickTime was you would take a personal computer and you would buy a $10,000 card set and put it in it. And you would send out your video to be digitized and get it back on tapes and load it up and say, ta-da, there it is, digital video. Literally, that's what all the engineers were working on around the world. And then a few totally renegade engineers at Apple, which are some of our best engineers, those renegade ones, had a totally different idea that no one else had thought of. Said, why don't we build a system that allows you to work with audio and video completely in software, and there's no custom hardware to do it. Now that seems pretty commonplace now, but back then, that was a revolution. That was completely different thinking, or thinking different. and they did that, and they knew where this was going to go. They knew we'd be here someday in the future showing the kind of stuff we're going to see today, and most of the rest of the world around didn't. We actually made fun of some of those early videos, because not everyone saw the vision of where this was going. I don't know if any of you were around when we did some of the first videos, but we lovingly called them postage stamp video, right? These cute little videos with rough frame rates and grainy video quality. They're made with the very first digital video software compressor. We had a code name for it. We called it Road Pizza, for its ability to flatten things and make them small. It's definitely an engineering name, not a marketing name. So what I like to do, just for fun, is take you back and show you one of these original first videos from the launch of QuickTime 1. Now, I'm about to play this video. You're going to have to strain a little bit to see it. Imagine being there in '91 at the launch of QuickTime and seeing this first video and the experience that was. But what's also amazing is this is the same file. It's a real testament to the longevity of QuickTime as well as the compatibility to bring forward stuff like this from back from 1991.
Put a card in the slot and onto the screen.
But now there's a set of winners.
Right. So Apple's integrating QuickTime and dynamic media.
The rest is push-button magic.
So we won't sit through the whole thing, but that was QuickTime back in 1991, and again, it was a breakthrough technology, and not to rehash the past and go look backwards because we want to look forward here at the conference, but it's interesting to compare where we have come in just a few number of years to some of the most amazing stuff people see today. And where we've come is to QuickTime 4, the current version of QuickTime. We've done some amazing things with this new version, and it's helped us to grow the product dramatically and allow all of you to do some things never before possible. And now we're seeing content of quality that those original, the audience originally watching that 1991 video probably would not have believed would have happened before we left this century. Let me show you an example of this one. It's a movie trailer from Apple's website, and it's on the new James Bond flick that's coming out. And we just open it up and play it.
This is an emergency situation.
The world's most wanted terrorist has a new target.
The one pipeline to supply our reserves for next century.
He has everything to gain. I know tomorrow your time is up. And nothing to lose. So who in the world can stop him?
Who are you?
James Bond. James Bond.
Can't you just say hello like a normal person?
But that's just incredible quality to think. Yeah, isn't that great? To think that now we can create video content distributed to millions of people around the web without an antenna, just digitally over the net with that kind of quality, well, that just wasn't thought of before. And the merging of this technology of QuickTime and the internet wasn't envisioned back in 1991, and now it is driving forward so many of the technologies and strategies enabling stuff like this to be possible. In fact, I'm sure some of you have all seen this clip before. This is a screenshot from the Star Wars Episode 1 trailer. I won't play it for you now. I'm sure everyone here has seen it because over 25 million people have downloaded this trailer. I mean, it is the largest video event on the internet to date. 25 million downloads, and the majority were 25 megabyte size, 25 megabytes. So we've distributed almost 500 terabytes of video. Almost 500 terabytes. My gosh. Who would have thought that there was a storage capacity in the world with personal computers to store 500 terabytes a few years ago, let alone to download it over a phone line or an Ethernet connection at work and play it. Right? It's just incredible. Now, QuickTime itself has just gone through tremendous growth. This happens a lot. I talk to people in press and they say, well, QuickTime's being successful because it's been around a long time. No, not even close to true. QuickTime's being successful because there's so much happening with it now, because of all the stuff you people are all doing. With QuickTime 4, we introduced the beta in April and shipped the final product in June. I think that's the shortest beta of an internet technology ever. But in that brief time, since June, we've now downloaded 20 million new QuickTime 4 players. Now that's in addition to the 50 to 100 million QuickTime players that are already sitting out there on people's hard drives and systems already. It's one of the most distributed APIs in the world. This doesn't include all the QuickTime that ships on every Mac you get. I'm sure there's a lot of people here who get Macs in their home and office. It doesn't include the QuickTime that's distributed with every copy of Mac OS. And it doesn't include the fact that another 1,700 products have licensed QuickTime 4 to distribute it with their own software packages since we shipped QuickTime 4. Just incredible adoption by our partners and our developers, and it's getting QuickTime in the hands of everyone around the world, anybody who wants to see quality video. So we're just having tremendous success getting QuickTime out there so you can be sure that when you create something, everyone can watch it with the best quality. Also important to watching all this video is creating it all. And I know many of the people here all work very, very hard to create their content. And what you care about is tools to make all that easy. Well, nothing offers the kind of tool support QuickTime does. We have over 17,000 applications that you can use in your workflow to create all your content. In fact, we know in some of the competing technologies that most people even use QuickTime workflow there as well, because there is no workflow for media like QuickTime. Some examples of those tools, I think these are sitting in all of our tool bins today. Most people here use all of these things. Things like Photoshop and After Effects, Macromedia Flash and Director, QDesign's Pro Music Tools, Sorensen's Pro Video Encoding Tools, Terran Media Cleaner Pro, an essential product for everyone creating high-quality QuickTime content. A totally hip live stage that lets you create interactive sprites on top of your QuickTime content. Just a tremendous number of tools. Now, if any of you were with a tool developer here and I didn't show your name, I apologize in advance. That's just eight tools here out of over 17,000, so there's 16,992 that I couldn't fit on a slide. But I'm sure you all use many of these tools. And in fact, we have a tool of our own that we're really, really proud of. We think it belongs in everybody's tool bin for creating QuickTime content, and it's the new Final Cut Pro. Final Cut Pro is an amazing tool. Amazing in a couple ways. One, in that we think it's one of the best video editing products ever brought to market for software nonlinear digital video editing. But it's also amazing because it's completely built on top of QuickTime. And as such, it's the most advanced QuickTime application ever developed. So for people looking to what can be built on top of QuickTime, this really is an example of the best of breed of what can be done. And I hope a lot of people do and follow in the same footsteps of products like Final Cut Pro. In fact, it's such a great product, I'd like to do a small teaser of it for you. There are sessions here at the show, but I'd like to invite up Andrew Baum, our product manager for Final Cut Pro, to give a small sneak peek at Final Cut Pro. Andrew?
Hey, Phil. Good to be here. Thanks a lot. First off, I'm going to show a project that I've created. Let's go. Let's show the video.
I think I do it just because this is the most incredible thing I've ever experienced. This has become pretty much a lifestyle for me.
You got to get out on the weekend sometimes. So right there, that was a project creating DV. I'm running it through the DV camera, the codec in the DV camera, and it's Final Cut Pro software only, running on a G4. So let me show you how I created that project. I'm going to open a new sequence here. With Final Cut Pro, you can have multiple sequences open at the same time. You're not stuck in one sequence like some other applications. So I'm going to open a clip right here, and I've already got an in and out point already set here for time's sake. And I can drag it right across over to the canvas, and out pops an edit palette, which shows you the tools you will need when you would need it. It doesn't take up valuable space on your monitor until you need it. There's an insert, overwrite, replace, fit to fill, and so forth. I'm going to hit the insert, puts it right in the timeline. Now I'm going to open another clip. And here I've got a split edit, an L cut. The audio starts before the video, as represented here by the different endpoints. I'm going to drag this right into the canvas. And now I'm going to open a montage. This is a sub-bin. You can have as many sub-bins as you want to organize your hierarchy as efficiently as possible. And here what we have is 35 different clips. Some have audio, some are a few frames, some are several seconds. And I've organized them like a storyboard, from left to right, top to bottom. So I can organize my content, and then I can select it all, and I can drag it right into the timeline. Now I need a little audio, so I'm going to open an audio clip, and I can actually scrub right through it. I could put keyframes and so forth. What I'm going to do is just drag the audio right in, and Final Cut Pro is smart. There's only 2 tracks of audio right now, but it knows I need 2 more tracks, and it automatically creates 2 more tracks of audio. Now let's say I wanted, for example, let's say I wanted a transition. I can do a Control-Tab, add a transition right here, and it puts the default. That's a cross dissolve. Now say I don't like that transition. I can go to my Effects tab right here, and we have Final Cut Pro comes with dozens of different effects and transitions. They're all written in the FX scripting language provided with Final Cut Pro. So you can write your own scripts as you see fit. So I'm going to take a cube spin, drop it right in, and there you go. You got a different transition right at your fingertips. Now let's do a little compositing to close out this project. I'm going to open another sequence, and what this is a Photoshop file, and I've imported the Photoshop file, and I'm maintaining the different layers. Very unique. Other applications don't do this. So what I'm going to do here is put a keyframe, go forward, put another keyframe, drag that character down, and basically I've got a Bezier curve, and I can control the acceleration right there. So let's play that in wireframe just so you can see what I've just done. Now I can take each component, each object of the layer, put a filter on it, and keyframe the filter, and as many filters as I want. In fact, we accept third-party After Effects plugins, and you can use those in Final Cut Pro too. So let's go back to that New Sequence tab. Take the compositing, drop it right on top. Now you've got a nested sequence right on top of the video. So when you're done with the project, what do you want to do? You want to export it. And as Phil said, it's all based on QuickTime. So let's go to the QuickTime movie, and let's look at options and settings, and all the different codecs available with QuickTime. Sorensen Cinepack, Photo JPEG, DV-NTC, DV-PAL are all available. And then I can also just put it for fast start or hinted streaming with a click of a button, and I'm ready to go. And I can stream it, drop it to a Mac OS X streaming server, and put it out to the world simultaneously. So there you go. That's how you create a project in Final Cut Pro. And what's really exciting and innovative is you don't need a lot of hardware. You don't need to carry lug a whole tray of different components and so forth and video cards. I can do it right on my Final Cut Pro on the PowerBook on a plane when I'm going. When I can hit it. There we go. Thanks a lot, Phil.
Thanks, Andrew. So I know a lot of you are starting to use Final Cut Pro, and we're working with many of you on that, and we've created sessions here at the show just so you can really dive into it and get to understand it. It's just a tremendous, powerful tool that makes working with and creating QuickTime content a lot easier. That's one of the great things about working with QuickTime is the ease with which we can create a workflow and make all this happen pretty seamlessly for people. Now, along with the workflow, there's dealing with all these different file types and all these different formats and all these different standards. It's like this graphic depicts a Tower of Babel, right? A total mess of standards out there. And it's tough for people to figure out what to do. One of the ways we've really tried to work hard on QuickTime and make it excel is to take advantage of all the standards but do it in a seamlessly integrated way. And that's helped to create a platform that's been successful across both Mac and Windows. As you all know, it's very important to us that, of course, while we love our Macs, we also support the widest audience possible for playback, so we support all Mac platforms and all Windows platforms, all modern Windows platforms, Windows 95, 98, and NT. And we'll continue to do so. But more importantly, as you dive deep inside it, and I know a lot of you are very technical on QuickTime, I'll just touch on a few of these, but many sessions get into this in a lot greater depth, is QuickTime supports just an incredibly dizzying array of component types. Can't read it all here, but there are component types for everything from digitizing audio and video, and all the different formats you need, and that's very unique to QuickTime, and it's something you should be taking advantage of and exploiting inside your projects. And you need to be able to work with a lot of files, which is why QuickTime makes such a great workflow of all the file I/O you have. And again, just an incredible array of file I/O, everything from Avid OMF all the way up to WAV files are all seamlessly supported with an I/O structure inside QuickTime. And of course, there are a tremendous number of codecs and different audio and video formats, and again, working really hard to add all the latest and greatest formats in one seamless environment. And that's really not the strategy other people have. So we've got all the hottest audio formats, everything from legacy formats like AU all the way up to MPEG 1 Layer 3 audio. And more importantly, video formats. Your projects all vary depending on the content, the delivery medium, and the partners you work with. So there's just a huge array of video formats to work with. What's all this about? Well, it's all about understanding the technology there that you can exploit to make the best quality product at any data rate, at any delivery medium. So what does that mean to the end user? Well, of course, as you move up in bandwidth, you're going to see different quality and be able to take advantage of different codecs and file types and compressor types. So I want to give you a few examples of that. So first of all, plain old telephone service, POTS. If you're sitting there, you want to deliver something to an end user from anywhere from a 28.8 to 56K modem, you know that's pretty limited. In the end, you know, that pipe is never going to deliver 30 frames a second, 60 fields a second, 24-bit video. There's always going to be limitations there. So you have to maximize the technology to deliver the best we can. So examples of that is to create videos that don't have too much motion, not too much high-quality CD audio, to get a good experience for the end user. Let me show you an example of that right now. I'm going to open up a QuickTime player. And those who knows we're giving fair time to Windows as well, playing here on Windows. I'm going to open up a piece that's encoded for a bit rate for 28.8 to 56K modems.
I'd like to talk seriously just for a moment. One of the great art exhibits ever to tour the United States is the Treasures of Tutankhamun, or King Tut. But I think it's a national disgrace the way we have commercialized it with trinkets and toys, T-shirts and posters. And about 3 months ago, I was up in the woods and I wrote a song. I tried to use the ancient modalities and melodies. We'd like to do it for you right now. Maybe we can all learn something.
Okay, if you guys really want to watch that, you can go to VH1. They're streaming that now in QuickTime. We can't take up all our time watching Steve Martin as much as we'd like to. So that's an example of 56K data rates and less, and the things you can do to try to certainly not have too much motion. You're not watching a football game, and you're not creating too large content or playing back CD quality audio, but you're maximizing what's possible to every end user. And you can see results being used for things like news on the web with ABC News and Fox News and QuickTime. They're delivering very good quality to people sitting at home on modems. Now, as we move up, there is emerging broader band solutions for people. In fact, I'll bet there are people here in the audience, I know a few of you, already have added DSL or cable service to your own home networks. And while that won't surpass 56K modem in the next year, it is growing, and a lot of the cutting-edge customers who want to see great quality content are getting on these broader band solutions. And what that means, of course, is more bandwidth, so you can take advantage of more features, more codecs, more components, and deliver really compelling and exciting experiences. I have an example of that as well. It's from the British Film Institute. Right now there's a London Film Festival going on, and they're broadcasting in QuickTime, a QuickTime channel that allows you to see the daily shots of video of what they're putting up there. So let's go to that. I'm going to bring up the London Film Festival. And what you're going to see here now from the London Film Festival, and again, this is live on the internet, is a flash front end. They're creating a very compelling user experience with Flash as the data type inside QuickTime. So I've got a wonderful interactive way to find my content. Now again, this is the internet. Anything can happen. They've just posted today's trailer, and we can just click on it. And in the Flash movie, we're going to launch another video window, bringing up today's trailer of a QuickTime movie from the London Film Festival over in Europe.
What if it's just picture of Pete last night? That is not what I said. Shut up.
How you doing? Good. Yeah?
How's Dad?
So this is the quality of using a 56K data rate, excuse me, a 100 KB data rate, and the things people can do at home on DSL and cable modems. And the quality is just amazing. Now you saw faster transitions there, better quality audio, really great lip sync of audio and video together. The solutions start to become very, very compelling as the data rate goes up. Now, of course, there's more beyond DSL and cable. And what we're starting to see a lot of is people who have access to the internet over their Ethernet. Now think about it. At work, we all have access to the internet over Ethernet with T1s, T3s, OC3s at work. We have people in universities, college campuses, access to the internet over Ethernet. Even in K-12 school labs, we're starting to see that. So now it actually is becoming capable and possible to deliver breakthrough solutions at even higher bandwidths. Well, luckily, unlike some other technology, QuickTime scales really, really well. And so now when you talk about a megabit per second bandwidth, it just becomes phenomenal what you're capable of doing. I have a fun thing to show off here, something that I think my boss would love to show off too, a movie that's coming out very, very soon. And what we have is a trailer that's been available on the Apple website and our movie trailer site. And it is now encoded for megabit per second bandwidth. So let's open that up.
It's too fast! How could you even tell what's on? Too late, I'm in the 40s. Gotta go around the horn. Faster. What? He's stealing Woody. Woody was kidnapped.
Woody once risked his life to save me. I couldn't call myself his friend if I were willing to do the same.
I'm touching you. You're angry eyes. Just in case.
Let's move! Geronimo! To infinity and beyond!
Don't talk to any toys you don't know!
Well, that's a crime. You're not turning me into a mission.
Hey, then I may not be a smart dog, but I know what roadkill is.
Drop! All right, nobody look till I get my cork back in.
I'm officially freaked out now.
What are we gonna do, Buzz? Use your head. But I don't want to use my head!
This Thanksgiving, the toys are back in town.
Woody saves the day again!
And just trying to get home.
It isn't a real rescue without Buzz Lightyear.
One piece.
We've been down this aisle already.
He's never been down this aisle. It's back it up, back it up.
I sure got Barbie.
I'm a married spud. I'm going to let go of the wall. What? One. He would. Two. Buzz, guys!
Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Toy Story 2.
Ride like the wind, Bullseye!
And that's amazing. Sitting here watching it, you forget. It doesn't matter whether it's in QuickTime or a TV or a movie theater. It's so engaging and engrossing to watch this. You're not seeing pixelated artifacts. You're not hearing badly compressed audio. You're not getting bad sync. Literally, the experience goes away and just becomes about the content. And that's what it's all about, the ability now to scale and offer solutions no matter how you want to go at it and what you want to deliver to the customer. And QuickTime can go and support all of that. Just amazing. So think about all these things as you're looking at the things you want to create, the work you want to do, that you have abilities to deliver all different solutions to people. And this stuff, this high bit rate, high bandwidth stuff, like the Star Wars trailer, like the Toy Story 2 trailer, is just getting millions of customers to access it and fall in love with the content. And everybody should be working with this. In fact, we've created a website at Apple, our movie trailer site, that's just become a great hit for us. People are insatiable for watching incredible quality content on the web. And QuickTime has allowed them to see some of this stuff now, and we're having just huge downloads. And I encourage you all to try to develop some of the content that scales, from modem all the way up to these incredibly high bandwidths. So that's an example of 56K, DSL, and Ethernet, and QuickTime's ready for whatever you want to develop and is waiting there for you to work on it today. Now, with all this content and with all these technologies, it's really about creating solutions for you and for the people that will watch all your content. And so we've decided to go a step further, do something that no one else has done, is to create a virtual network on the web. And we started this just this summer, just a few months ago. And so much has already happened. We call it QuickTime TV because it's the best analogy we could think of what we're trying to build. And to describe it, we sort of go back to a TV description to try to make analogies for what is it we're doing here and what are we building together. Well, like a TV network, first of all, of course, you need a receiver or a TV set. And then you need to build a TV station to take all this content and throw it out there and broadcast it. Then you need a broadcast network to get around the country and around the world to reach as many viewers as possible. And last, of course, the most important thing, you need killer content. Because in the end, that's what customers are getting on to watch. And so QuickTime TV is about working on all of these elements together so that we can create a solution for you, and you can create great QuickTime TV channels and get everything you're working on out to every customer in the world. So let's step through it just a little bit, briefly. The television receiver is the QuickTime player. And this is what was behind us redesigning the QuickTime UI. It was very important for us to find a way to make a QuickTime player that when you're just playing back local media and editing like you can with QuickTime Pro, it stays out of the way as a nice simple player like before. But with the channel drawer, it could open up and become the equivalent of a TV set for the average consumer, that you can just pull down a drawer and start clicking on different channels and watch all this great content. And so we've created a new UI to make that easier for everyone out there in the real world. And then we had to go and create a TV station. Now that's something that was totally new to Apple, a TV station for QuickTime. So what is that TV station? Well, it's our streaming server, so that you can put your content on the server and serve it out onto the web. So we invented the QuickTime streaming server. We decided to do it in a way that no one else has done yet, which is to make it based on open standards. So the QuickTime streaming server is based on RTP, RTSP, and it's the only open standard streaming server out there in the world. And we like to lovingly say it has no server tax. And what we mean by that, for those who care, what that means is that as you grow, as you get more successful, as you start to broadcast more channels and to more people, the costs don't scale up with it for the server. Right? There's no tax for the number of streams or the increase in bandwidth, so you don't have to worry about that coming down the pipe. As you get more successful, you're going to hit a wall of what you can afford to do. And we've delivered the QuickTime streaming server in a product of our own called Mac OS X server. Inside Mac OS X server, we bundle for free the QuickTime streaming server so everyone can get up and running, turn their Mac into a server, and get broadcasting and have their own TV or radio station on the web. Now, we also know that there's a bigger world out there, and there are other solutions people would like to have. So again, unlike anyone else, we've tried to create an open marketplace for servers for you. And to do that, we took the QuickTime streaming server, we made it part of Apple's open source project, the Darwin open source project. We call that the Darwin streaming server. So we have open source now. You can go and download and play with the server. And that's worked incredibly well. Developers are bringing back bug fixes to us, helping to increase the performance, take it to other platforms that Apple isn't, all built on top of this open source server. In fact, we've had over 50,000 downloads now from developers of the Darwin streaming server. So what that ensures is there'll be an open, very vibrant marketplace for servers for serving up QuickTime content. And that's something that has never happened before. We think these two things will really help to grow the online marketplace for streaming content, having an open standards, RTP, RTSP, and having an open source for other people to create products. Now, could you imagine if the web was invented with HTTP and one company owned it and only sold HTTP servers and no one else could get one? I don't think we'd have had the explosion we've had on the web of all these incredible websites. Everybody has a website because everyone can get a web server. Well, that's the case with the QuickTime streaming server. There'll be an explosion of media on the web because everyone can get a server, everyone can afford a server. And a lot of developers have been working with this incredible Darwin open source. And I'd like to talk to you just briefly about a couple of them. Here's a great name. Now, this is a company that's just down the road from Apple, a great partner of ours, Oracle. And they have done some truly amazing things. And they're starting to solve some problems that people have always had working with content. And they've used the Darwin streaming server to do that. But rather than tell you about it, I'd like to bring up Steve Hagan. He's the VP of Development for the Server Technologies at Oracle. Steve?
Hi, Phil. How you doing? Good morning, everybody. I am really happy to be here today because today we're going to be showing you for the first time how the combination of QuickTime plus the Oracle 8i Internet platform is a natural for your businesses. Basically, Phil's been showing you some really exciting ways to create new content in your businesses. What we're working on in Oracle is how do you manage all of this content. So naturally, when you think about managing content, people ask the question about, well, I'd really like to use a database. Databases give us security, reliability, scalability, very powerful query engines to ask very unique questions about all the content you've got. But up until now, the answer to the question would be, well, how do I get QuickTime dealing with a database? Well, my engineers have been hard at work on a new product that we're going to be showing you here. It's called Oracle Intermedia. This is Intermedia, which is part of the Oracle 8i engine. And with Intermedia, we're going to now show you how you can load QuickTime content right into an Oracle database, how you can use the Apple Sherlock query capabilities to deal with getting the content back in any type of a query you wanted to use. And then finally, we're going to show you an example of a web application already up and running here on the stage. And now, to show this, I'm going to give after a couple button pushes.
So this is beta.
I will
Let's start with that.
Great. I was just trying to start the video clip, and for some reason, the player wouldn't start. Let me just start with a video clip which we borrowed from Apple, and this is one of the Apple commercials everybody has seen before.
Now's the party for exotic sports.
Let me quit it, and let me show you how easy it is to take this video clip and manage it and take it to the database, which is Oracle 8i. This one at a time, what you're seeing is Oracle Intermedia Annotator. Intermedia Annotator runs natively on Mac platforms and Windows platforms, and it knows what QuickTime metadata is. So what we have done, we have pulled up the entire metadata which you could find in the movie. And we've also found out that there are more than one track. There is an audio track, a video track, and a text track in the movie itself. Let's look at the video track. And at this point in time, we are using QuickTime for Java to extract samples from the video. And when we are done, these are the video clips we found out. And now we are creating information. We have timestamps and the image frames, which we have just got. Let's do the same thing with text track. And I can show you the timestamp and the text which is coming up as well. Now these contents have enough information for me to take it to a database and create an indexing out of it. Let me upload this into Oracle database. At this point of time, what is happening is that we took the video and the metadata which we extracted from the video. Metadata has been converted into an XML document. The XML document has been uploaded in the database and indexed. So we're done with the content uploads. Let's go and find them. And we're going to use Sherlock to find the content. Let's search for a keyword, iMac. As you just saw, Sherlock has a plugin for Oracle Intermedia. And we just searched the database and found these many videos which have keyword iMac appearing somewhere in the metadata we uploaded earlier. But these are too many. As you remember from the previous video, that there was a word reference to easy somewhere in the video itself. Let's type that word and find it. Now we have two contents. Let's look at them. You can see that we have easier appearing here and easiest appearing here. Oracle Intermedia is smart enough to figure out that you mean easy, easier, easiest, the same thing, the same meaning from that. Before I play the video, let me tell you, when we play this video, it's going to go to QuickTime streaming server, which is going to pull content from 8i, and the video is going to start from the frame, near the frame where the word easy appears. So listen to the video carefully where it starts. This is streaming from 8i database, starting where the word easy is going to appear.
One. Redesigned and even easier to use.
Now now let me show one of the real-life examples. We built a sample website. You've seen the QuickTime trailer site. What we did, we added searchability to a sample content site to it. This is the Trailer City site, where you can search for content for movies which are, for example, starting around Thanksgiving. You can even select for ratings, or you can pick ratings based upon who is looking at the content. And you can search for keywords. Let me search for a movie which is starting around Thanksgiving and which has Al Pacino as an actor in it. Let's go search. Whatever appears on this page is coming from database again. This was the metadata we extracted from the movie using QuickTime for Java and uploaded in the database, including this URL, which was found in the movie trailer itself. And this is generated as a URL for you. You can go to the site and see the actual site which is putting the movie up. Let's go back and play the movie. By the way, whatever work we have done with QuickTime Streaming Server is going to be copied back to the open source QuickTime Streaming, so everybody can use it. This is also streaming from database.
I've sweated blood for these men, given up my wife and my children for these men. I've given up everything I have for these men. Games all that matters to me, because it's pure, it's safe. Life isn't.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Sounds like this went pretty well. So as you've seen, you now have the ability, using QuickTime and with the Oracle Intermediate product, to load your content into the Oracle database. You can search it using the combination of Apple's Sherlock plus, again, the Intermediate extensions. You've been able to stream your content directly out of the Oracle database. And this gives you the ability, with a combination of QuickTime plus Oracle, to build the most engaging sites on the web. Phil, I want to thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
It's always a pleasure working with you. The two companies get along so well. The only disagreement I've ever heard among their engineers is what kind of beer they should order when they go out at night. Thanks again, Phil.
Thanks, Steve. So that's, for me, that's just a breakthrough technology. I know for all the people I work with that have a lot of video that they create in a QuickTime format, they've been dying for a way to store this. Not only to store it in a database, but now to extract all the information and search on it is incredibly powerful. And it's been great to have Oracle support QuickTime for Java to create that intermediate app, as well as support the Darwin Streaming Server natively inside the database. Just remarkable technology, and I think there's a lot of things hopefully running through all your minds now as you see this that you can do with all your content and your tools. Well, that's a little bit on the server side. Now we move out to the broadcasting network. As you all know, the internet is a great place for moving around email and text HTML files. But those documents can route anywhere they want around the world and get to your desk. If it takes a couple extra milliseconds, that's okay. And that's how it's designed. It's a wonderful network. But when you're trying to stream audio and video to a user's desktop, those packets can be routed anywhere around the world. Now you start to get into packet loss, and you degrade the quality for the user. And that's the challenge of doing audio and video over the internet. Well, we've been working as part of QuickTime TV on the network and with partners that are able to solve these problems in very unique and interesting ways and improve the quality of video by getting the audio and video closer to the end user so there's minimal packet loss between them and the source. And when we decided to go and create a network, QuickTime TV network, we looked around for who has some of the best technology out there, and we found a company that just had some remarkable breakthrough technology. And I think you've probably heard about them lately in the news. They've been growing remarkably fast. Yep, Akamai is a great company, and they're doing wonderful things and just been a great supporter and partner of the QuickTime TV network. I'd like to invite up Danny Lewin, CTO for Akamai, to tell you a little bit about what they've been doing with QuickTime out on the web. Danny?
Hi, thanks a lot. We at Akamai are very happy to be working with Apple to build the broadcast network for QuickTime television. And we've been having a lot of fun watching QuickTime television grow over the last couple of months. We've already delivered millions of streams for QuickTime television, and it's really taking off. What we've done together is built really a massive network that consists of over 1,500 servers deployed at over 55 communications networks in about 20 countries around the world, that allows you to take QuickTime streaming content, and instead of delivering it from a few central locations, 3 or 4 locations, like some other solutions, we can deliver it from very close to the end user, and that allows, as Phil was talking about, to get much better quality, much less packet loss. And in addition, in particular in the broadband arena, when you're trying to reach users with much higher bit rates, once you move the content closer where their users are actually connecting into the network, you can really try to guarantee them great quality. And we, together with Apple, are expanding that network vastly, and expect to have, by the end of the year, over 2,000 servers deployed on many more networks. And I'll be talking tomorrow, and I hope as many of you who can come, about how easy it is to actually use this massive distributed network in order to deliver your content to users.
Great. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you.
Again, this is all starting just a few months, but the partnership with Akamai has been going great, and we're growing the network very quickly, as fast as we can, trying to improve the quality and delivery of all your content out around the world. I know some of you work with some other partners as well, so we've also been making sure that other people also support QuickTime and provide solutions for you as you need them. And one very large partner is making an announcement today. Interview, as well, is starting to support QuickTime across their network and has services and support for QuickTime spreading across the web. So you're going to see a lot of broadcast solutions with Apple and Akamai and with Interview and others to really increase the reach and the scope of QuickTime as a network around the web, and really solving some of the problems inherent in the internet as it was originally developed. We also have server companies now trying to solve some of the inherent bandwidth and limitations of the network to get this video out as far as you can. You'll see an announcement today from Network Appliance, who makes some great caching servers that are spread all over the internet. And now they're adding QuickTime support onto their caching servers so it can get further out, further into ISPs, further into point of presences, and with great caching support natively built in for QuickTime using the Darwin streaming server. Now the next company I'm also going to talk about is bringing up a caching server, but it's one like you've never seen before. It's from a company called Novell. I'm sure many of you have heard of Novell. Novell's certainly known for a lot of the networking technologies. Well, they have done something truly remarkable. They've bringing to market a caching server that delivers some internet video capabilities that no one's ever done before. And rather than tell you about it myself, I'd like to bring up Drew Major. He's the founder and chief scientist of Novell. Drew?
Thanks, Phil. Novell recently introduced a proxy cache appliance we call ICS, and it's being sold by Dell and Compaq and IBM and a bunch of other vendors. In the next rev of that appliance, we're going to add full support for QuickTime streaming, both live and stored. And of course, what a proxy cache does is it functions in the middle. It provides scalability. So when it's deployed somewhere like at the Akamai network, potentially a single source can reach millions of servers. We're doing this proxy cache support both for recorded video as well as live video. And what you get with caching is the ability with live video to be able to time shift live streams. And no one's done that before. Microsoft Reel hasn't done it. Apple hasn't done. That's what we'd like to demonstrate today. I think it's very cool because what it now gives you on live streams is the ability to pause, then push play and not miss anything, like live streams work today. Thank you. It also gives you the ability to go back. It would give you, for example, the ability to start watching this live stream right now, go back and not miss anything. Fast forward it, go ahead. Let me demonstrate it here for you, Phil. What we've got is, pull up the Internet Explorer. There it goes. We've mocked up a screen here. It's front-ending. Let me start the streaming here.
Right now, we've had to put on the launcher page, we've had to put a delay bar that allows you to control the synchronization of the streams. We anticipate that that will be fully integrated within the QuickTime viewer very shortly. But this gives you the ability to go in the past. Now, let me go back like 4 minutes. Let's see if we can catch Danny here. We'll go back like 4 minutes. Okay, we'll watch it here suddenly. See what happened 4 minutes ago on this live stream. Yeah, there's Danny 4 minutes ago. So there it is live. See, what's happened is there's kind of like two worlds today. There's the live world and the recorded world. And from a customer standpoint, it ought to be one and the same. You know, you ought to be able to time shift the data. It's kind of like TiVo for live internet on live streaming. So what would happen from a deployment standpoint? You'd basically deploy these appliances as a splitter repeater in front of, for example, your publishing site. They can also be deployed within the infrastructure, like with Akamai or something, to provide the scalability. But also corporations and ISPs very close to the user would also want to deploy it. It would go all the way through, and again, an integrated way to provide tremendous scalability, and now this new capability. One other thing to note is the ICS server from Novell is very scalable. We anticipate that we'll be able to support up to 5,000 simultaneous 28K bit users off of a single server, because of course quality means number of bits, and the more bits and you just need scalability to provide that without spending a lot of money on servers. Anyway, now let me go back to the present here and show you shifting up ahead, and here we go. A couple seconds, it'll sync up. There we are.
Welcome
what do you
back
think,
to the
Phil?
present. Thanks, Drew. This is incredible. And
thank you.
Has anyone ever seen technology like that before? I don't think so. I mean, really, it's just incredible. Technology to be able to watch a live stream over the internet, and the phone rings and you can hit pause, and then come back and hit play and keep watching. I mean, that's incredible for a live internet stream. No one thought of this, and the Novell team looked at what they could do with the Darwin streaming server and came up with this caching server idea, and I think it's going to be just a huge hit. And they're working together with Apple and with Akamai to make this part of the network that people have access to develop their QuickTime TV streams. So again, I want to thank Novell for that. Just amazing technology. And that takes us to the fourth area of the QuickTime TV network, and that's content. As we know, without content, the users won't have anything to watch. And what's the point? What's the point of all the technology? There isn't one. So we need the best, high-quality, top-notch content available anywhere in the world, and to do it in ways that's unique to QuickTime. And that's the stuff we've been working on as well over just the last few months. The way the user gets access to it, of course, is inside the QuickTime player. With simple buttons, they single-click on and go right to whatever content they want, and can add any channels they'd like to at whatever whim they have. And some of the content you see out there, of course, now, is just phenomenal. A great Disney channel streaming live in QuickTime TV, a great growing HBO channel with news and sports and show clips, Rolling Stone, Rock on the Web, some very pushing the technology all the way to the limits. They've had some interesting news lately with their porn star piece, for people who are into that, up on Rolling Stone, and they're just pushing some incredible stuff out on the web. ABC News, daily updates of the top news stories live over QuickTime TV. BBC World broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the BBC cable channel, now live on QuickTime TV all the time. Same for Bloomberg Television with financial news, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on QuickTime TV. ESPN, now as you know, sports is hard to do over a modem, so they're first working with a lot of radio content. You can listen to sports events while you're sitting at work. Well, some people do. Fox News, they're updating every day. Top news stories, you can watch Fox News on their own QuickTime TV channel. Fox Sports, we're right next door to Fox Sports here, and they have a great sports channel updating every day with new sports news. NPR, a lot of us listen to National Public Radio, and all their national shows. They broadcast their national radio talk shows over QuickTime TV now. And this is a surprising one. Consumers love the Weather Channel. Not surprising people at the Weather Channel, but for those of us who didn't think of it, and people love to go on the internet and look at what the weather's going to be, where they are, or where they're going to travel to. And it's a really big hit. WGBH. Now, education is one of the most important markets to Apple. We have a number of things we've been doing with education, with special events and special content providers. And WGBH is one of the premier content providers in education. Based out of Boston. They have both live and interactive content. You can even go onto their site, watch a channel, or jump and go to discover something like the pyramids and do a QuickTime VR 3D view of pyramids. Just tremendous content. And here's a great content provider that's been behind QuickTime from the very beginning, Warner Brothers Records, very special to Apple and the work they've done with us. And they've been doing some cutting-edge, real leading new technology with us, something I'll just demonstrate to you a little bit further on. VH1, playing great music videos on the web. They have a channel inside QuickTime, as well as a great site that has live QuickTime content from concerts, as well as stored video, and they're completely integrated together between the QuickTime player and the web browser, working seamlessly in a nice fashion. Now that would be enough. I mean, just tremendous content. We've been working very hard with all these providers, many of them here, to bring up great channels as we grow this QuickTime TV network. But we also have more. And we continue to try to drive and get the best content onto QuickTime to work to create unique solutions. And so a few of them we're announcing just here today. TVRadio.com. This is the national broadcaster for France. We're moving QuickTime around the world. And in France, TVRadio.com carries 100 national radio stations and 10 national TV stations, all on QuickTime. This incredible scale of content in France. The Financial Times. Financial Times is announcing today they're bringing up a QuickTime TV channel so they can track news and stock in the financial world right in QuickTime TV. Nickelodeon, great brand, great cable provider, and they have tremendous assets. They have today brought up one of the coolest kids channels you can see on the web. Just a really great flash interactive fun experience with tremendously rich content behind it. And they have another channel too, TV Land. For those of us who remember some of the older shows, they have classic TV shows up on the web, and it's a lot of cool fun to go back and watch that stuff. And then here's a brand that's incredibly powerful. MTV is announcing their QuickTime TV station today. And they're going to be bringing up a channel with incredible video content, on-demand content, and they'll even be doing a Millennium event exclusive with QuickTime. So MTV is just a great partner. Join the QuickTime TV channels. And last but not least, we're announcing today CNN. And this is a great one. I think many of you know that CNN, of course, is a world leader in delivering news and video and stories around the world. And CNN.com has certainly been an early leader on the internet with delivering that out to end users, broadcasting over the web. And today they're bringing up their QuickTime TV channel. We're working really hard with them to deliver some very unique content and unique experience for our users. And I'd like to bring up Joe Hyland from CNN to tell you just a little bit about the great things we're doing together and show off the new CNN channel. Joe?
Thanks, Phil. Good morning. I'm really excited to be here. Imagine a day you're sitting down. You just edited your video in Final Cut Pro. You've used Novell and Oracle technologies to serve it and index it and store it in the database. And then you're serving it over Akamai interview. And then all of a sudden you go, what's going on in the world? Well, CNN... CNN has helped people throughout the world answer that for years. We started out and we've moved from platform to platform, whatever technology is available and works for our users and the people we want to reach. We started out close to 20 years ago on cable television, of course, where we get the name. 1995, we moved to the web. Last year, we served 4.5 billion page views. We've moved to pagers. We've moved to cell phones. By the end of this year, I believe we'll be available on about 30 million cell phones. And so we're really excited to move on to great technology platforms. And that's why we're excited about today's announcement. Let me pull up the player real quick.
will be right here in a very prominent spot, which we like.
The QuickTime. It's working. The technology works.
It works.
The CNN.com channel will bring up the major stories of the day to help you answer that question we posed to you later, what's going on in the world today. We've selected the top, major story, then top stories, and then top 2 stories in the upper right there, and then the headline news, news on demand forecast. 10 years ago today, the Berlin Wall fell, so this broadcast commemorates that.
There are parts of East Berlin where worlds exist side by side, where trendy bars catering to the Love Parade crowd mix with old, crumbling architecture untouched since the communist era, where whimsical boutiques for the wild at heart and for those serious about the avant-retro disco look share the streets with traditional neighborhood shops. Oh, it's not perfect. Locals complain about the tattoo parlor and of real estate speculation as buildings are renovated for the yuppie crowd, driving out many long-time residents. But Prenzlauer Berg is one corner of Berlin where East and West coexist.
Okay.
You'd think
the remainder of the clip is available on our website, as are anywhere from 20 to 30 video clips a day. They're all organized by category, so we encourage you to use the QuickTime TV player to find our site, or just go to our site and enjoy the QuickTime experience. Thanks so much. Thanks, Phil.
So that's it for our description of QuickTime TV and a lot of the things we're doing to make it the best place to watch video on the web and listen to music on the web. And that would be enough, I think, as a good way to start off this launch today of this great conference for QuickTime. See all these tremendous technologies, the great Oracle server products, the great Novell casting server, great new content like CNN, just great partners like Akamai. I think this is just a nice way to start because it's all about partnerships and all of us working together to deliver something unique to millions and millions of people out in the world. We were going to end there, but we thought it would be fun to just do one more thing, because this is a really special audience, and a lot of you have been great partners to us for a long time. So we want to give you a little sneak of some of the other things coming in QuickTime. So if you don't mind, before we end, I'd like to do a little sneak preview for some of the things you've been asking for coming QuickTime. And these things have not been talked about before, not been shown before, and I hope you'll like them, because these are things that have come straight to us from the content providers in terms of what they would like to see right away in the next version of QuickTime, and things we're starting to work very hard on to extend QuickTime 4 with new features that are really the top priorities from all of you. This is going to come out in another release called QuickTime 4.1, coming in early next year. And QuickTime 4.1 will be paired with an update to the QuickTime streaming server called, of course, QuickTime Streaming Server 2. And it's going to bring a whole bunch of new features. Let me highlight just a couple of them that you've all asked for. First, ad insertion. A lot of content providers want the ability to seamlessly, before they start playing their video on demand files, after they start playing, before they start a live stream, to insert a video ad. As many of you, of course, are running businesses very successfully and need the ability to do that inside a QuickTime stream. We've also asked for the ability to use Smile, a language that's gaining popularity as a way to script and control your stream, and that will be supported in the new QuickTime and QuickTime Streaming Server so that you can script this stuff. We've also adding user authentication. So for example, let's say you want to create a pay-per-view channel inside QuickTime TV. You want to authenticate whether the user has access to that content. That will all be driven automatically from the server now to authenticate the users who get to your channels. And then last, one that we've worked hard with one of our partners on is a feature we call the playlist, which is what if you want to create, for example, a music video channel, which is broadcasting all day long, all these different QuickTime movies, and you want to have a way to automate how you create that channel. Well, that's what we call the playlist, and that's a new feature built into QuickTime 4.1. So these are features you've asked for to allow you to increase the solutions and start to create more businesses around QuickTime TV. And if you allow me just another minute over schedule, I'd like to show you a demonstration of some of these new features in QuickTime 4.1. So I'm going to bring up machine that has a beta, an early beta of QuickTime 4.1, so hopefully the gods are with us and all will work well. First, I'm going to do something very techy, which is, this is a fine place to do it, is I'm going to open up a smile file. Cool name, huh? Smile file. And for those people, a few of you clapped about smile support, this is a smile file. It's a script to automate the creation of your QuickTime stream. And what the script has, if you could read it up close, is it has a command to tell the smile file what QuickTime stream you want to play. It also has another command in there to say what ad would you like to place before that live stream begins. And there's a third command, a statement in there that allows you to say what happens if the user clicks on that ad, where should they go. So that's a smile file sitting inside of BBEdit. It's more interesting to actually see what it does. So I'm going to drag that same smile file onto the new QuickTime 4.1 player, and of course what will happen is it will play a TV ad, and then it will go to the stream and do it in a very seamless fashion, which is something no one else is doing yet. So there's our ad.
For the first time in history, a personal computer has been classified as a weapon by the U.S. government. With the power to perform over 1 billion calculations per second, the Pentagon wants to ensure that the new Power Macintosh G4 does not fall into the wrong hands. As for Pentium PCs, well, they're harmless.
Now, seamlessly, we're going to move on to our actual stream. So that's an example of ad insertion. I want to do it one more time, and this time we'll click through on the ad to show you how that works. Again, straight from the smile file controlling all of this, we'll start playing our ad. This ad for this really cool product will start. Now, instead of watching it through and waiting for the show to begin, I'm just going to click on this. And what it's going to do, it's going to launch our browser and take us to the web page that's defined in the smile file. Once my browser launches. This is beta, as I promised. There we go. Right to the Apple Store so I can buy that beautiful graphite G4 and embarrass all my Pentium-loving friends. Now, as we go back to the QuickTime stream, of course, it's still playing. We haven't lost our channel. We just went off and viewed an ad. So that's an example of ad insertion and being able to click through it. Let me show you another feature of the new QuickTime 4.1, again, designed to your requests. I'm going to bring up Warner Brothers Records. As I told you, they're a great partner of ours, and they've been working on some cutting-edge technology with us. What they are doing is using the new beta of the new playlist feature on the QuickTime streaming server so that they can actually create a video rock station playing 24 hours a day, dynamically serving up constant video and always changing that. So if we click on, for example, the Warner Brothers Live channel, this is what's broadcasting right now. I don't know what video it will be. I'm taking my chances. Cool, James Addiction. So what we've done is we've jumped into a stream that's dynamically bringing in all the different QuickTime movies via the playlist, automating the process. It also has a little click-through on the bottom so you can click on a link, jump right to the website, to the page to buy the CD of the video you're watching that's coming from the playlist. See a very seamless transition from one video clip to the next as it's all being generated dynamically. Okay. So that's an example of ad insertion in a playlist. Let me show you one last feature, of course. We talked about the ability to have user authentication and create unique solutions like pay-per-view channels. When you open up a movie, we call it the authentication movie. It's something we created to demonstrate this technology. And it has two links on it with a sprite page. One is a link to watch a movie, and that's a free link. And the other one is for members only. So first we'll go on the free one. I click that link. Up comes a video. It just starts playing as it normally does today. Okay, so that's how it works today. But with authentication, I can click on this link, and instead the server prompts me my user ID and my password. And the QuickTime streaming server does the authentication. And once the server checks me out, it can start the stream. That's an incredible video. I'll be honest, we used 2.6 megabit per second on that, just to show what can be done, right? Why'd we do that? Because we can, right? Not everyone else can. All right, so that's a little demonstration of what's coming in QuickTime 4.1 and QuickTime Streaming Server 2. They're features that a lot of you have asked for. We are so dedicated to making QuickTime TV the best way to watch video on the web, the best way to deliver content around the world, and really learning the things that you want us to do to make it better. And that's where the idea for all these features came from. And we're moving so fast. I think one of the things Apple's been able to do is once we turn our sights on something with QuickTime, we've got just the best team in the world, and they're doing amazing things. So there are some people, members of the team here, so if we could just take a moment and thank some members of the QuickTime team for the amazing technology they've been doing. So that winds up our opening. Again, this is really not about this opening, but about the whole show and about the time you guys spend in on sessions, meeting with people, talking with people, giving us feedback on what you want QuickTime to be. So I'm going to thank you for your time here. And as you leave, we're going to throw up another movie sort of on the same theme as the one we entered with. We entered with Troops, this great old piece on Star Wars. There's a modern piece. Again, amazing example of what people have been doing on the web, all by themselves with this technology, streaming live from a server from someone who's created their own fun piece on the Star Wars theme. And this is QuickTime 4 and streaming, and I hope you enjoy it. And thank you for coming to enjoy the show.